Ladies, let me tell you something that might shock you. I've been that woman. Yes, me. The one who said these exact phrases to a man who wasn't my husband. And let me be brutally honest with you right now. When a married woman says certain things to you, she's not just being friendly. She's literally screaming, "I want you," in a language most men are completely deaf to. And before you click away thinking this is just another dating advice video, stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal in phrase number 9 is so obvious, so blatant, that when I tell you what it really means, you're going to replay every conversation you've ever had with a married woman in your head. I'm talking about that coffee shop girl, your coworker, your friend's wife, that woman at the gym. Yeah, that one. And here's the thing that's going to blow your mind. The number 13 phrase. I've used it myself at least 20 times, and it worked every single time. But we'll get to that. First, smash that like button right now, because if this video gets 5,000 likes, I'm dropping a part 2 that reveals the physical touch signals that are even more obvious. And trust me, you'll want to know those. Now, are you ready? Because once you hear phrase number 1, you'll never look at a harmless conversation the same way again. Slight pause, lean in closer. So here I am, mid-20s, in what everyone thought was a perfect marriage. And I remember sitting across from this guy at a work conference, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, wait, before I tell you that, drop a comment right now and tell me, have you ever had a married woman act unusually friendly with you and you weren't sure if she was flirting? Because I need to know if you're paying attention. Okay, so phrase number 1 is when she says, my husband never asks me about my day, or he doesn't care about these things. Now listen carefully, because this is where most men completely miss the signal. When a married woman goes out of her way to tell you what her husband doesn't do, she's not venting, she's creating a comparison. She's literally putting you and him side by side in her mind, and guess what? You're already winning. I did this with a colleague once. Complained about how my husband never remembered the little details about my stories, and this guy, he remembered everything, every single thing I told him, and that made me feel seen, valued, desired in a way I hadn't felt in years. That's the hook. She's baiting you with emotional availability. The gap she's showing you isn't just information, it's an invitation. And if you're sitting there thinking, but maybe she just needs someone to talk to, oh honey, keep watching, because phrase number 2 is going to shatter that innocent assumption completely. Pause for effect. Shift body language to more intimate positioning. Now, here's where it gets deeper. And I want you to really pay attention, because phrase number 2 changed everything for me personally. When a married woman looks at you and says, it's so easy to talk to you, or I feel like you really get me, what she's actually saying is, I feel an emotional connection with you that I don't feel at home. An emotional intimacy? That's the gateway drug to physical intimacy for women. I remember the exact moment I said this to that guy at the conference. We were having drinks after a seminar, and I looked at him and said, you know, I can talk to you about anything. I feel so comfortable with you. And the way he looked at me, he had no idea what I was really saying. But I knew. I knew exactly what I was doing. I was building a bridge from friendship to something more. Comment below right now if you've ever had a woman tell you she feels comfortable with you, because that word is loaded with meaning you probably missed. See, when she says you get her, she's creating an us versus them dynamic. It's you and her in this special bubble of understanding, and her husband is outside of it. That's intentional. That's calculated. And if she's already said phrase 1 and phrase 2 to you, buckle up, because phrase 3 is where she starts creating opportunities for you two to be alone, and that's when you need to decide if you're going to play this game or walk away. All right, before we get to phrase 3, quick thing. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Click that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I drop videos every week about female psychology that will literally change how you see women forever. And hit that like button again, because we're going for 10,000 likes on this one. Now, phrase number 3 is sneaky because it sounds so innocent, but it's anything but. When she says, we should hang out sometime, or we need to grab coffee soon, just the two of us, she's not planning a book club meeting. She's engineering alone time. I used to do this all the time. I'd suggest lunch, coffee, drinks after work, always framing it as casual, always making it seem like no big deal. But here's what was really happening in my head. I was thinking about what I'd wear, how I'd do my hair, whether the place would have dim lighting, if there'd be wine involved. I was orchestrating a scenario. Women don't suggest one-on-one hangouts with men randomly. We're strategic creatures. Every suggestion is a test. She's testing if you'll say yes, testing if you want to be alone with her too, testing the waters to see how far this can go. And here's the kicker. If you agree too easily, she knows you're interested. If you hesitate, she'll push harder. Drop a comment right now. I've been invited for coffee if this has happened to you, because I guarantee you didn't realize what was really being offered. The coffee isn't about coffee. The lunch isn't about food. It's about proximity, chemistry, and creating a space where boundaries can start to blur. And trust me, once you're alone with her, phrase number 4 is coming, and that one is about her marriage bedroom. Or rather, what's not happening there. Okay, this is where I'm going to get really vulnerable with you because phrase number 4 is something I'm not proud of saying, but I said it, and I meant every word. When a married woman tells you, I don't feel desired anymore, or it's been so long since someone looked at me that way, or my husband barely touches me, she is handing you a loaded weapon. This is the nuclear option of signals. I remember sitting in a car with a man who wasn't my husband, and those exact words left my mouth. I can't remember the last time I felt wanted. And the silence that followed was electric. Because what I was really saying was, I'm starving for physical affection and validation, and I'm telling you because I want you to be the one to give it to me. This is not a cry for help. This is not her processing emotions. This is a green light disguised as vulnerability. When a woman opens up about her sexual frustration to you specifically, she's already imagined what it would be like with you. Period. She's already played the scenario in her head. She's already justified it. Comment below, I've heard this, if a married woman has ever confided her bedroom problems to you, and then stick around because I'm going to tell you exactly what she expected you to do next. The vulnerability is strategic. The confession is an invitation. And if you're still sitting there thinking this might be innocent, phrase number 5 is going to completely eliminate any doubt you have left, because this one is about you specifically, and how different you are. Here's something that will blow your mind. Phrase number 5 is when she starts putting you on a pedestal, and this is psychological manipulation at its finest. When she says, you're not like other guys, or you're so different from my husband, or I wish more men were like you. What she's doing is separating you from every other man in her life and creating a category where you're special, unique, irreplaceable. I use this line like a weapon. I'd look at the guy and say, you just have this way about you that's so rare, and I'd watch his ego inflate right in front of me. Because here's the truth. When we make you feel special, you let your guard down. You start thinking maybe this is fate, maybe this connection is real, maybe you are different, and that somehow makes this okay. It's rationalization fuel for both of you. She's telling herself, well, he's not just any man, he's special. So this isn't just some affair. This is meaningful. And you're thinking, wow, she sees something in me that even her husband doesn't see. It's intoxicating. It's dangerous. And it works. Every single time. Drop a comment. I'm different if you've ever heard this from a married woman. And be honest with yourself about how it made you feel. Did you feel chosen? Superior? Like you had something her husband didn't? Yeah, that's exactly the point. And once she's got you feeling special, phrase number 6 comes into play. And this one is pure jealousy disguised as innocent curiosity. So phrase number 6 is when she starts asking about your romantic life. And oh honey, this is the jealousy test. When she casually asks, so, are you seeing anyone? Or, do you have a girlfriend? Or, what's your type? She's doing reconnaissance. She's mapping out the competition, figuring out if you're emotionally available, and most importantly, she's revealing that the thought of you with another woman bothers her. I used to do this in the smoothest way possible. I'd be laughing, joking around, and then just slip in. So what kind of girls are you into these days? Making it sound like friendly conversation. But inside, I was dying to know. Because if you said you were single, that was a green light. If you said you were dating, I'd mentally note that as an obstacle I'd need to work around. If you described your type and I fit it, game over. She's already won. Here's what most men don't realize. Women don't ask about your dating life unless we have a vested interest in the answer. We're not just making small talk. We're strategizing. Comment below, right now. She asked if this has happened to you, because I need you to understand that this question is never casual. Never. And if she's asking about your love life while she's literally married, That should tell you everything about her intentions. But wait, because phrase number 7 is the most classic line in the history of married women signaling interest, and you've definitely heard this one before. Okay, I almost don't even need to say phrase number 7 because it's such a cliché, but it's a cliché for a reason. It works, and women keep using it. When she says, "My husband doesn't understand me," or "We're just so different," or "He doesn't get who I really am," she is building a wall between her marriage and you. This is the separation phase. I've said this exact phrase, and here's what was going through my head when I did. I was creating a mental divorce. I was telling this other man, my husband and I are not really connected. We're roommates. We're strangers. There's no real intimacy there. So what I'm about to do with you doesn't really count as betrayal, because the marriage is already dead. It's the ultimate rationalization. And when she says it to you, she's inviting you to be her emotional translator, the one who gets her in ways her husband doesn't. It's the ultimate compliment and the ultimate trap. Because once you position yourself as her emotional savior, the physical part is just one small step away. Drop a classic line in the comments if you've heard this before, and be real. Did you feel like the hero of her story when she said it? Did you feel like you were better than her husband? That's exactly what she wanted you to feel. And here's where things get physical. Because phrase number 8 involves touching, and when a married woman starts touching you, the game has completely changed. Phrase number 8 is all about physical contact, and this is where things escalate from emotional to physical territory. When she touches your arm while talking, fixes your collar, punches you playfully, runs her hand down your back, or makes comments like, "Wow, you've been working out," while touching your shoulder or chest, she is breaking the touch barrier intentionally. I cannot stress this enough. Women do not touch men by accident. Every single touch is calculated, measured, and intentional. I remember the first time I touched that guy's arm during a conversation. I let my hand linger just a second too long, and I watched his pupils dilate. That's when I knew he felt it too. The electricity, the chemistry, the unspoken something between us. When a married woman initiates physical contact with you, she's saying, "I want to know what you feel like. I want you to get used to my touch. I'm preparing you for more." It's pre-intimacy. It's the preview. Comment, "She touched me," below if this has happened to you, and really think about whether it was actually accidental or if you're just now realizing it was completely intentional. Because here's the truth. That touch on your arm, she thought about it before she did it. She chose that moment. She wanted to see how you'd react. And if you leaned into it, if you reciprocated, if you touched her back, she got her answer. Now, phrase number 9 is so subtle that 90% of men miss it completely, but it's one of the most powerful signals of all. All right, phrase number 9 is the compatibility play, and it sounds like this. "Oh my God, I love that band too," or "I'm obsessed with that show," or "That's literally my favorite book." She's creating common ground, building a foundation of, we're so similar, we're so compatible, we just get each other. Even if she's never heard of that band before, even if she's never watched that show, she will suddenly become an expert in whatever you're interested in. I did this with everything. He mentioned he liked hiking. Suddenly I was researching trails. He said he was into jazz. I started listening to jazz playlists. Because here's what women know that men don't. Compatibility creates comfort. Comfort creates intimacy, and intimacy creates opportunity. When she mirrors your interests, she's building a case for why you two make sense together. She's creating a narrative where you're soulmates who just happen to meet at the wrong time. It's storytelling. It's seduction through shared identity. Drop a comment. We like the same things if a married woman has ever suddenly become interested in your hobbies, because I guarantee it wasn't organic. It was strategy. And if she's doing this, you better believe phrase number 10 is coming next. And this one involves alcohol and opportunity in a combination that's basically a recipe for what she's been building up to this whole time. Phrase number 10 is the setup, and it goes like this. "We should grab drinks sometime," or "Let's go to that wine bar," or "I could really use a margarita. Want to join me?" Alcohol plus privacy equals lowered inhibitions, and she knows this. I knew this when I suggested it. The entire point of the drink invitation is to create a scenario where things just happen, where you can both blame it on being tipsy, where the atmosphere is romantic, where the conversation can get deeper and more personal, where touch becomes more frequent, where the line between appropriate and inappropriate gets blurry. It's environmental engineering. She's not just suggesting a drink, she's suggesting a context where boundaries dissolve. I would pick dimly lit places, order wine that would last a while, choose seating where we'd be close, wear something that walked the line between casual and suggestive. Everything was calculated. Comment, drinks invitation below if a married woman has suggested this to you, and ask yourself honestly, did you think it was just friendly? Or did some part of you know exactly what she was really suggesting? Because here's the reality. The drinks are just the excuse. The real agenda is seeing if you'll take the bait. And if you show up, if you buy her that drink, if you sit close and let the conversation get intimate, then phrase number 11 is inevitable. And that's when she starts breaking her own rules. Phrase number 11 is the rationalization statement. And it sounds like, I never do this, or this isn't like me, or I don't know what's gotten into me, or with you, it's just different. Benansi, this is her conscience fighting with her desire, and she's narrating that fight to you out loud. When I said this, and I did say this, what I was really doing was giving myself permission to cross a line I knew I shouldn't cross. I was saying, look, I'm a good person, I don't normally cheat, but this situation with you is so unique, so special, so powerful, that it overrides my normal moral code. It's the ultimate justification. And by saying it to you, she's also testing whether you'll be her co-conspirator in this rationalization. Will you agree that this is different? Will you validate that what you two have is worth breaking vows for? When she says she's never done this before, she's not looking for you to stop her. She's looking for you to encourage her. Drop a, "It's different" in the comments if you've heard this line, because this is the moment where she's handing you the keys to her boundaries and waiting to see if you'll unlock them. And if you do, if you tell her, "I feel the same way," or "this is special," then phrase number 12 is coming. And this one is basically a written invitation with a time and place. Phrase number 12 is the logistics reveal, and it's when she volunteers information about her husband's schedule. He's traveling this weekend, or he works late on Thursdays, or he's going to be out of town next month. When a married woman tells you when her husband won't be around, she's not making conversation. She's opening a window of opportunity. She's literally telling you when the coast is clear. I did this deliberately. I'd casually mention, "Oh, he's got that business trip to Chicago next week," and then watch to see if the guy picked up on the implication. The information is never random. It's strategic. She's saying, here's when I'm available, here's when we could be together, here's when there's no risk of getting caught. It's an invitation without explicitly being an invitation. She's giving you the when and the where without having to say, "Let's have an affair." Comment, schedule info, below, if a married woman has ever told you about her husband's travel plans or work schedule, because that wasn't small talk. That was reconnaissance for a mission. And if you acknowledged that information, if you said something like, "Oh, really?" with that knowing look, then you've basically confirmed you're both on the same page. Now, phrase number 13 is the final move, the checkmate, the moment where she creates the absolute perfect scenario for everything she's been building up to this entire time. Phrase number 13 is the grand finale, and it's when she asks, "Can you give me a ride?" Or, "Can you help me with something at my place?" Or, "Do you mind dropping me off?" When a married woman asks you to drive her somewhere, to come to her house, to be alone with her in a private space, she's not asking for help. She's creating the ultimate opportunity. The car is intimate. Her house when her husband's not there is opportunity. A private location is where boundaries finally disappear completely. I remember asking a guy to give me a ride home from a work event, and my car was literally in the parking lot. I didn't need a ride, but I wanted to be alone with him. I wanted to see if he'd take the bait. I wanted to create a scenario where we'd be in close quarters, where anything could happen, where I could finally make the move I'd been planning for weeks. And when he said yes, when he opened that car door for me, I knew we both understood exactly what was about to happen. That ride home wasn't about transportation. It was about destination. Comment, ride request. Right now. If a married woman has ever asked you for a ride or to help her with something private, and really think about whether she actually needed the help or if she needed something else entirely. Because here's the truth. By phrase 13, she's not being subtle anymore. She's being direct. And if you've heard all 13 of these phrases from the same married woman, congratulations or condolences, depending on how you want to play it, because she's basically handed you a roadmap to her bedroom, and now the only question is whether you're going to follow it or not. So listen, if you made it this far, first of all, Thank you for sticking with me through this entire confession because I know this was intense, raw, and probably uncomfortable in places. But here's why I made this video. Because understanding female psychology, understanding how women communicate attraction, understanding the subtext beneath the words, that's power. That's knowledge that changes everything. Now, I need you to do 3 things for me right now. Number 1, smash that like button until it turns blue. Because if we hit 15,000 likes, I'm making a part 2 where I reveal the body language signals that are even more obvious than these phrases. And trust me, you need that video. Number 2, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because I post content like this every single week that will completely transform how you understand women, attraction, and relationships. And number 3, comment below and tell me which phrase shocked you the most. Was it number 4 about bedroom frustration? Was it number 12 about the husband's schedule? Or was it number 13 with the ride request? I want to know what hit you hardest. And here's the thing I want you to walk away with today. These phrases aren't just random words. They're a language, a code. And most men are walking around completely illiterate in this language, missing signals that are practically neon signs. But not you. Not anymore. Now you know. Now you can see it. Now when a married woman says, "My husband doesn't understand me," you'll know she's not venting. She's recruiting. When she touches your arm, you'll know it's not friendly. It's intentional. When she suggests drinks, you'll know it's not casual. It's calculated. What you do with that information is up to you. I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong. I'm here to make sure you're not walking around blind. So take this knowledge, use it wisely, protect yourself, make informed decisions. And remember, female psychology is complex, layered, strategic, and beautiful in its own way. If you want to master it, stick with this channel, because we're just getting started. I've got videos on reading female body language, understanding the different types of female attraction, decoding text message patterns, understanding why women test men, and so much more content coming your way. This is your crash course in female psychology, taught by someone who's lived it, done it, and is willing to tell you the uncomfortable truth that most people won't say out loud. So again, like this video right now, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, drop that comment telling me which phrase shocked you most, and I'll see you in the next video where we're going deeper into the physical signals that married women use when they're attracted to you. Until then, stay aware, stay smart, and remember, knowledge is power, but wisdom is knowing what to do with that power. I'll see you next time.